Well, maps are symbolized information. They are full of information, and they're consciously created to convey some kind of information.
There's an endless number of maps, but we conveniently organize them into two types or two groups. One type of map are the topographic maps. Topographic maps are maps that show actual surface features, road alignments, land covers, buildings, water features. The features of a topographic map are features that if you were to go to that place, you would actually physically see in the landscape. The second broad type are what we refer to as thematic maps. Thematic maps really organize spatial information around geographic themes, hence the term thematic maps. And there's really no end to the types of thematic maps that are possible. You know, everything ranging from migration flows across the United States historically to corn production.
Through maps, we can see how the world and man's knowledge of it have changed over time. We can use maps to get where we need to go. They also help us see patterns in relationships between people and places. For example, in the 1850s, a map helped doctors discover the cause of cholera, a contagious disease that's plagued mankind for hundreds of years. But even today, maps play a part in how we study diseases and epidemics.
The cholera epidemic, 1853 and 1854, in London, the outbreak in London, and the analysis of that epidemic by John Snow, who was an anesthesiologist, is cited as the first best example of using spatial information and determining or trying to prove a medical hypothesis. The area of particular concern was an area around a place called Golden Square, the Golden Square area of London. And in a period of about 6 or 7 weeks, there were over 500 deaths in this area. What John Snow did was to go and obtain information on the addresses of people who died from cholera. And he began to plot them. What he noticed about the distribution was that it seemed to concentrate on a particular area in Broad Street. Now, he had previously done some experiments, and he believed that cholera was spread by the water supply. He began to investigate where these people got water. And in doing so, he found that people were getting water from the Broad Street pump. But there were also deaths in outlying areas. People who wouldn't ordinarily think would go this far for water because there were pumps nearby. What he found in one instance was a lady who liked the taste of the water from the Broad Street pump. And so she had her daughter go to the Broad Street pump and bring her water every day from the Broad Street pump. And so what John Snow did here is that he proved his hypothesis by demonstrating the extreme cases, the cases that didn't fit, as well as the cases that fit. Now, legend has it that the pump handle was removed and the cholera epidemic subsided. That's the legend. It's not true. Actually, the epidemic had already started to abate. The deaths had already started to decline. This is the classic case in medical geography, using spatial distributions to determine, to arrive at a medical hypothesis. You don't have to have a good a medical knowledge. You don't have to have a knowledge of a physician to be a medical geographer. But with specific diseases that you want to look at, specific diseases that you want to examine, you better have a pretty thorough knowledge of it.